What up, y'all? It's your boy, One Sir Grove, just getting back at you. I hope everyone's having a blessed day or evening, depending on where you are in the world, because, it does depend on where you are in terms of whether it's day or night or somewhere in between. So what we're going to be doing today, or again this evening, is getting back in touch with Mr. Skeem, Big Skeem from Level 4. And we're going to catch up on part 2 to the most recent episode here, because this is, in fact, officially a 2-part episode with your boy, One Sir Growth. So what up, man? We got Skeem back on the show to finish up part 2 of a 2-part interview with Big Skeem. Skeem, what's up, man? How you doing, brother, today?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm getting ready to go to the beach with the family.
Okay. Man, what's the weather? Because this is a bi-coastal show. I've been knowing you, man, since you was a youth, young kid growing up, Grandview,
Well,
Yep. So what's
the weather?
Yeah, man, what's the weather?
Beautiful for Washington.
Okay.
September.
What you...
It's probably like 70-something.
70-something?
Light breeze. Blue skies.
Y'all ain't got the same kind of humidity that we got out here today, huh? It ain't like pushing like...
Nah, man. It's beautiful.
Nice. So real quick, man, because I know you going to the beach with the famo and everything. What's going on in the rap game, man? Like, tell us really quickly, like, when you were coming up, man, in North EVT, who influenced you in the rap game, man? And when did you decide that you wanted to get yourself in to the business with production like you've done in the past and on the mic rapping? Like, how did you get in it?
Real shit, I gotta admit. Tupac, Outkast, Nas, Jay-Z, all them guys was, coming up as I was a youth. I do like old school stuff, Razcast. I love me some Snoop, Dre beats like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So I grew up, put together a little studio, started making beats because, I never really had this idea of being a rapper, being as that I was a white kid in the 90s.
How old were you when you started your first studio, like the first operational studio?
Oh, man, I was probably like 17, 18.
And you had cats coming in from the neighborhood, from around town?
Oh yeah. Man, we did our thing. I gotta give a shout out to his homie, YC1.
YC1, Young Chili. Hell yeah. That's the dude.
That's my guy. As far as a local artist, that's the guy who influenced me, probably more than anybody. Unless you want to go like way old school and talk about when you guys used to do shows at the Project Hops that we used to throw.
Now,
and
hey.
Sit down 187.
Hey, look. My man's, my dude, my homie, in other words, Skeem, he just said to y'all that back in the day, real quick, I'm just gonna very quickly say this because this is Skeem's interview here on the show. Skeem's mother was working in the community doing grassroots mobilization, and she used to work with the group in the community that was doing a really good thing. And they used to put together these shows in the neighborhood, and we had skateboarders, we had open mics, and it was a lovely thing that his moms did. And
block parties and all that.
Tell these cats, man, as you were just alluding to, because a lot of people don't know about this type of West Coast history. Who was Pizown 187?
Oh man, that was Anthony, Isaac, Jonathan, Danny. They was from New York.
And
it was a crazy upbringing with living in the projects. You got 4 strangers in your house that are rapping, you know what I'm saying? You're having gang meetings in your house.
Right.
Truces and shit, you know what I'm saying? We did all that good shit. We tried to get this community together, you know what I'm saying? Just because we was in a bad community didn't mean we had to make the worst of it, you know what I'm saying? We tried to get this shit together like 2 butt cheeks and make it crack like glass.
Yes. Brother, I remember, and this is for the worldwide audience tuning in for the first time, or again, to 495 Casting Celebrities Worldwide, Skeem in his part of town, I wasn't too far from him because we both lived in a set of project housing, and he was in what was considered the new projects, which didn't make it any less or more of this or that. It's just that's what they were known as because they were built at a certain time where they were considered the new projects, but nonetheless, we were both living in low-income housing at the time. And so I lived in the old projects, which were separated by this part of town. It was a park, this like notorious park that separated the old and the new projects. And we had mutual friends because we grew up. There was a
Wiggums Hollow, by the way.
Wiggums Hollow, Wiggums fucking
right next to DYC,
right next to the Denny Youth Center, absolutely. And then there was a Boys and Girls Club where a lot of kids from not just the part of town that we're from, which is called the Riverside, which is the northeast part of town, but the kids from the Bayside and the, more upscale, affluent community who are friends as well, they would actually come and play sports at the Boys and Girls Club that separated the two parts of town, the east and the west. It was simply separated by one stretch of land, which was one roadway called Broadway. And, but your boy Skeem, who's on the radio right now, the reason why I politely interjected, because a lot of y'all don't know unless you were there, one of the fucking tightest times, raddest fucking most incredible times in history was actually at his spot because these dudes had come from out of state. And I took my crew at the time, Deep in Everett.
He was from Hobbs, New Mexico, man.
Man,
20-some odd years ago, I still remember that shit.
I remember when I met them dudes, the Pizzam that night, they reminded me the style that they were doing at the time was Bone Thugs and Harmony, but they didn't bite anything. Like they weren't biters. Like they were their own thing.
They wasn't fast rapping like Bone either. They had their own shit.
Their own shit, exactly. And it was a cold style. And I remember meeting the Pizzam 187 for the first time at the show that was thrown at the spot up by Grandview, which is where mixed minorities, this is where Crips and Bloods, Skeem, he come from the blue team, and I come from the red team, as y'all know, and we was linked up as friends since childhood, you know what I'm saying? Because Skeem actually knows my family, you know what I'm saying, my younger sibling and whatnot. And so he's the same age. And the point is that in our neighborhood, we grew up, like he said, Young Chili, YC1, who's older than me. We knew these dudes that were legendary street hustlers and fucking rhyme artists. And when I met the Pizzam for 187 for the first time, that was actually as a result of Skeem and his people putting that together with that performance and everything. And that's why I give him credit, because that's how we were introduced. And so, yo, man, let us know, bro. Like, let the audience know. What was the vibe back when niggas was drinking 40, chain smoking Newports and shit? What was it like back then growing up, seeing all that around you, bro?
It was, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? You ain't from here. Who you here to see?
Yeah.
Wrong answer, homie. That's just how we got down growing up. But it was all love if we knew you. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what hood you're from, what part of town, if you a dad and a mom, if you purple, black, brown, we didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? As long as it was all love, it was all love.
Yeah.
Like the line goes, one day or day one, it's your finish.
So you being in that hood environment, coming from a real West Coast, real fucking hood, real neighborhood, growing up around some of the West Coast's most legendary rhyme artists, YC1, Young Chili, Boomer, all of Chili's cousins and homies and his famo and everything like this, being connected to the family. When you got into the rap game, not just from a production standpoint, being young, hustling, saying, yo, man, I can open a studio myself and have the cats, who I know and some new faces swing through, do some business. When did you know that you really wanted to get up on the mic yourself? Because I do remember when we were growing up, bro, in our earlier years, you were all up on you were West Coast, but you had a very inside knowledge, insiders like perspective of the East Coast. Like you had a really good handle on East Coast hip-hop, like from an orthodox standpoint. Like you was up on Nas. I remember that. And you fuck with Jay and
Yeah,
him.
man. Back then, man, nobody was listening to it because that East Coast, West Coast beef shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was always on Cormega. I was
Cormega,
always on
wow.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
I was always on Big L. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I still fuck with Cameron, even though he's a little bit nowadays. But you know, I still fuck with him. He's a solid dude. I don't fuck with Rick Ross. I'm not talking about Freeway Rick Ross. I'm talking about Rose Ross.
You don't fuck with Rick?
I don't get down.
You don't fuck with Rick Rose?
I don't fuck with him. Man, I can't fuck with no corrections officer claiming to be a dope dealer.
Oh man, none of the tracks that come out of the Maybach family. You ain't with any of them. None of the.
Nah, I mean, look, he's a good rapper.
Yeah.
He makes music that sells.
Yeah.
But if he ever called me like, hey, I want to put you on, I'll tell him no, I'm sorry.
Oh wow, damn.
I fuck with Wale though.
Okay.
Wale's not on that. I'm a big dope dealer shit. Wale's on that. I'm a real motherfucker shit.
Hey, you talking about the Wale from the DC area, from the DMV,
yeah.
Bro? Hey, out in fucking, I'm out here in New York. In fucking DC, I used to be in the DC area before we started the op out here. You know all this stuff, but I'm saying for the audience, hey, Wale still got mad motherfucking love from the District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, DMV, bro. They love Wale, G.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I remember his first track when it came out. I think fucking MTV was still either that or BET, and he was he had the shirt and it said something to the effect. Don't quote me on this because I can't remember exactly, but I said, oh, it's the one with the put me in your pocket, right? Wasn't that the joke?
I don't remember, man.
He had the shirt and it said something like,
you know me, man. I don't even remember my lyrics from songs that I did. You know what I'm saying? So how am I supposed to remember other people's shit?
Right. But that was the OG shit that I saw.
Now
That's
put on some Richie Rich, Seasoned Vet. I sing that whole goddamn album. Put on some Tupac. I do the same shit for my own stuff, man.
So would you say then you're more of a, are you split down the middle? Are you 50-50? Are you both East Coast and West Coast, East Coast? What do you...
Nah, man, I look at it like this. I'm a lyricist.
Okay.
When I rap, it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
It's going to bring you to a point that's going to make you think. And if it doesn't, then I'm not for you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hear trap music, it's cool. Get on that little yachty. Or
fan or no fan?
Shit.
Fan or no fan, or in between on Lil Yachty?
I don't give a shit. Whoever you're on, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be on that shit, that's cool. That's not me. That's not my shit. I'm not a mumble rapper.
So no comment?
I'm not one of them dudes that, you know.
No pump? Fan? No fan?
You're gonna have, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have 4 bars and then a fucking hook and then a stanza, and then I'm gonna come back with 4 bars and then repeat that 4 bars 18 times. That's dumb shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't care if you have 4 bars. I don't care if you have 80 bars.
Yeah.
What I do care about is that you make an actual song and not just saying the same shit over and over and over again because you got a dope beat so people are gonna buy it.
True.
I'm not hating on nobody, but what I'm saying is I want to be able to hear some shit. I want to put your music in, and I want to hear something.
You know what's interesting, Skeem, that you say that, and this is important for the audience to understand. What y'all motherfuckers need to really get a grip on and wrap your minds around and fathom. Skeem is a younger dude than me by a few years. He's on the tail end. Like, his generation was the generation that was at the beginning, but didn't. Okay. Not at the beginning. He was the last generation that didn't fuck with auto-tune. Like his generation wasn't part of that fuckboy shit. Like, they don't fuck. Like, Skeem comes from a time and an era where niggas actually wrote fucking raps and did lyrical shit on wax, bro. Like, where you can hear what a motherfucker's talking about. You can clearly understand it. You ain't got to think about it. You might think, yo, that's some complex shit. Let me play that back. Oh, I see it's a play on words and decipher. But you can clearly hear, and there's no mumble shit. Skeem, you got a couple bars, bro, just to spit so niggas know, like, yo, this kid is fucking nice on the mic. Like, anything, freestyle from some previous rap that you wrote, that you recorded, because you are level 4. You're a big part of level 4. In fact, speaking of which, how did you meet Rosendo and Mr. Broccoli, Brock Landers, and Dizzo?
Well, just because the audience doesn't know, I met Sendo through you buying some equipment.
Okay.
From him for my studio.
Nice. Excellent.
Ended up going back with Heidi to do some work in the studio with
Props
Sendo.
to Heidi. Props to Heidi.
And you know me, you know, I'm a fucking smart ass, and I'm gonna push the limits.
Yeah.
So Sendo wanted to hear what I was rapping about. So I pulled out a verse that it was pretty complex, but it was funny, you know.
Right.
There was some punchlines in there, but it wasn't anything that you would take serious. So Sendo actually had to stop the track and look at me, and he's like, "Are you fucking serious with this shit?" And I'm like, "No, man, I'm just playing with you."
Right.
But that dude got bars, you know what I'm saying? He was like, "No, what you're saying works."
Right.
He was like, "But it's funny as fuck," and I just couldn't fucking believe that someone would be talking this shit.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the other thing. I never decided that I wanted to be a rapper. Had that happened, I would have already put out albums and shit.
Right. Well, y'all do have
my people.
Y'all got the underground jump.
And I sold dope. So,
bro, we all did.
I put
statute of limitations.
Yeah,
statute of limitations.
I put my money into
25 plus years ago. Yeah.
Better myself and better my people. You know what I'm saying? So That's what I did with my money.
Right.
And I never took it serious. It was more of a hobby, you know what I'm saying? But it was cold flow regardless, you know what I'm saying? You could hear the coke in my flow like the Jack says. But never, I never took it that serious. I still fuck with my people, and if they want to do some shit, they already know I was one phone call away.
Yes.
Because Brock, I met Brock running these streets, and fucking with you, bros.
Right.
And after me and Brock met, you know what I'm saying, we was both on that get money wow shit. So we hit it off great.
Yeah.
And he's been a A1 since day one. Dizzo, the funny story about Dizzo is
I'm in suspense.
By this time we had been doing some shit together musically, me, Brock, and Sendo.
Right.
And whatnot.
That was the first or second L4 album. That was the second.
We started to form the level 4.
The level 4,
at
okay.
That point in time.
Okay.
And
because I was in Chicago at that time.
So I meet Dizzo at an after party after we do a show. Well, people don't know about me, but just because I don't rap seriously doesn't mean that I don't rap seriously. You know what I'm saying? So I was a battle rapper, and I would go to the contest, and I would chew people up on the mic.
I've seen you do it.
Before they get on stage, after they get off stage, you know what I'm saying? It didn't matter to me.
I've seen you do it at house parties, bro.
I would do it for money and for free, just because I didn't like the person. You know what I'm saying? So in order for Dre to get in to level 4, they made Dre battle me.
Oh, you battled Dre?
Yeah, it wasn't good for him.
Okay, hey, wait, hold on. Hey, real quick, audience. So check game. Dizzo is from a crew, legendary, ultra fucking legendary West Coast crew called Murder One, M1 fucking posse. Now, when we talk about posses, hey man, I gotta bring it up because it's totally relevant. When NWA and the posse were a posse, there were other posses in America on the West Coast and in other parts of America. M1 posse was a posse from fucking the Puget Sound. There was a no-joke posse. And Dizzo rhymed with M1, and then there was also C-Note. And man, Dizzo is an old school cat who rhyme.
If you want to know what Dizzo sound like,
kind of like
listen
Lynch.
To all that Ice-T.
Ice-T, and he kind of got a Lynch sound too. He kind of got a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute. They on some old school OG hustler shit though.
Yeah.
Street shit. So
anyway,
so you battled him.
It wasn't good for him to battle me because our styles didn't go together. I was a battle MC. He was a song dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the time, he was working through albums. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it wasn't like what he was saying wasn't on the same style as what I was saying. So
Right.
it wasn't working out for him. But me being the dude that I am, just because I can out battle you doesn't mean that you can't rap. So I told Sendo, let him in. He rapped his ass off.
Yeah.
He got bars. He just got a different style from me, and everybody in the little house party, you know what I'm saying? They just look at it like he gets chewed up by the dude who raps, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't about being chewed up. It was about the fact that he had to prove himself, and he did that.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say that you can't fuck with us if you do what you're supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? So,
right. Because L4 is fucking elite. Yeah. Elite.
Long story short, Dizzo ends up marrying my auntie and becomes my uncle by marriage, you know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
So that's how the fuck we get down out here. Just because, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Motherfuckers think that we not tight knit because we ain't talked in a while. No, don't get it fucked up. We real all family.
La Familia. 100 fucking percent. So are you up on this new the speculation, or if it turns out to be true that Sendo hinted at the other night on his interview on the show here, are you gonna be on the new L4 album if it does in fact materialize?
So here's the thing about that. I already got the computer for him.
Okay.
To set the studio up. So if I'm already investing, you think I'm not gonna fucking be on it?
Good point. Now I know the answer, but this is for the audience though.
No, I know.
So who would you like to have cameo on it, man? Like underground sign artists, like in an ideal world, like who would you like to have come on the album with you outside L4? Like someone from the area, because your boy Swish.
I fuck with my boy Swish. You know what I'm
Swish
saying? I fuck with him. I fuck with Raz Simone if he wanted to do it.
What's his name?
James Simone.
How do you spell that? You were flexing.
Black Umbrella. R-A-Z Simone. S-I-M-O-N-E, I believe.
Okay.
He's with Black Umbrella out in Seattle.
Okay.
They got a good movement going.
They in the north end?
Sam LaChow. I fuck with Sam LaChow. He's back in between New York and Seattle, you know what I'm saying?
Are they in the north end? Or are they south end? Or CD?
Shit, I think they south or something.
Okay.
I don't know exactly that, you know what I'm saying?
Just
you know
around
me,
the town?
I'm working. I'm an electrician. I don't keep access to the grind no more.
Right. And by the way, man, I congratulated you for getting your electrician's license and your journeyman's license, and congratulations to you, man, on that, bro, because you came a long way in that trade craft.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean that. So you fuck with them two cats, from the C-Town, 206 Love and shit?
Yeah, I fuck with them. You know, I fuck with Castro, my partner Castro out in Brim.
Man, you talking, hey,
Chili.
You talking about the whole...
I fuck with my partner Nuke, you know what I'm saying? Good old Silky.
Hey, is Castro been on albums with us before? He's still doing it?
Yeah, you know, motherfuckers out there.
Alright,
you know,
Bremerton,
not doing as heavy, but come on.
Hey,
fuck around.
When y'all look at a map, man, of Washington State, y'all peep Bremerton, man. You might not know this. Bremerton ain't no joke, man. I used to be out there when I was a kid because my parents were in the military. Bremerton, man, is the spot. Lot of legendary motherfucking rap artists and shit.
Going
lot
on
of hood
there.
shit. Naval Town, bro. And Bremerton, we got love for Bremerton. We got love for Marysville, for Everett, for fucking Seattle. We got love for Seattle. We got love for the 509. That's Eastern Washington Territory. The whole 509, 360-425-206. Yes, Grove said love for the 206. So basically, is the level 4 jump is on. Real quick, man, the one song that y'all did on the level 4 that got a lot of play, there's the We Keep It Crackin' jump. What's the one that a lot of people in the underground, they was cheering for it, man? What's the game?
The game
is so lonely. It's so lonely. Yeah.
I just thought you should know.
Yep.
That's the one. That's the motherfucking one that everybody was was on, and
That's
the
right.
Talking to Myself track.
That's right. How did you come up with it, real quick, man? At the end of this interview here, how did y'all come up with the concept for that? I mean, I know the concept, but I'm saying.
So we're around. I like to talk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. Sendo puts the beat on, I'm starting to record. I hear the beat, I got my verse already, and all I say is, the game is so cold and so lonely, I just thought you should know. And then I went into my verse. I finished my verse, I did my double takes, I did my ad-libs. I was like, all right, man, I gotta go get these. This money's calling me. He said, no problem, we'll have the song done today. Back that night, listen to the song. He turned that little snippet into the fuck with Heidi, and that's history.
Give us 2 lines. Give us 2 bars, man. 2 to 4 bars off of that track.
I only fuck with pros when it comes to artist ratio, busting up in their face and go, spit a swallow ratio, losing that gain of hope. That's how the sports go. No, that's enough. That's enough for you guys.
You said the game is so cold and so lonely. Yo! That's my boy fucking Big Skeem. Used to be Little Skeem. He's a big dude now, grown-ass man. Got his journeymans. And, man, West Coast Ultra legendary MC, level 4, man, Skeem. It's been an honor, man, to have you on the show. And, man, for future, anytime, man, you want to come on. And by the way, Skeem is going to be starting a podcast, I hear, as well. Is that true? Oh, you fluxed out there, brother. Was that it? Confirm? Yes? No? You got your podcast?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we gonna get it all together.
Nice. So pretty soon, y'all can check out Skeem's podcast. Plus, I'm just gonna put it out there because I grew up with Skeem, and I don't think he'll mind if we close this particular episode with me saying this. Skeem working on some clothing line, his own attire, you know what I'm saying, some gear and shit. And when Skeem says he's gonna do some shit like this, he ain't fucking around, he ain't playing. So.
Oh, that's not it, bro. In the works, I got a restaurant coming.
You got the restaurant?
And, yeah, my partner Sean, I'm about to, we're looking at next year, maybe a year after getting everything open. We're just trying to come up with a business plan and put it all on paper, get all the lawyers paid, get all the motherfucking equipment paid for.
Nice.
And then we're going to have the restaurant. We're going to work with the podcast. We're going to be doing some other shit. The point of everything is all my people that are coming home.
Yeah.
All my people that fell and are coming home. I'm trying to put them on when they get out so they ain't got to get right back in them streets and go right back in the cell.
You already know, man. We want YC1 back up on the microphone, bro. I always been saying free YC1, man. YC1 always been a rider with me, man, and I ain't got nothing bad to say about YC1, Chili, any of his cousins, man. They've always supported the projects, man. They've always delivered on the microphone. It ain't been nothing funny, man. And we always like to take care of our people, man, our folk and shit. And yeah, man, on the real estate tip, man, in terms of commercial, we've been making investments out here on the East Coast. And fucking y'all need to get out here too, man, so we can get the high-rise operation going. And you know.
Oh yeah, man. You know, I'm on my way to Chicago.
Yep.
In a couple short weeks to go fuck with Brock.
Mr. Brock Lander.
Be out there for
Brock Lee.
For 5 days. So when I'm out there, I'm gonna call you. We're gonna do a podcast.
Yeah,
with me and Brock
fuck yeah. Call from the shy, bro. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Level 4. Fuck
and the
yeah,
next
we gonna
place,
do that.
The next place I'm going to the shy is I'm gonna come fuck with you in Manhattan.
Yes.
We gonna do some shit out there.
Hell yeah.
I do have to say I talked to your boy Mike Chow.
Yeah.
Solid dude.
Mike Choi.
Big up.
Mike Choi.
Yeah, Mike Choi. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, you good. You good, man.
You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I talked to him, you know, we sent a few messages back and forth and whatnot.
I saw y'all was connected.
And and we gonna do this shit, man. We gonna get it together.
So you already know, and I already know, bro. Absolutely. Why?
All right, man. It's all love. Yeah. I'm about to hit this beach before the sun go down.
Cool, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. And once again, we want to thank Big Skeem from Level 4 for coming on the show, man. And this is 495 Casting Celebrities Worldwide. One love. One.